possible to get your first Etsy sale in the first 24 hours of launching your store? Well, the truth is, it's definitely possible. But to be completely transparent with you, I actually didn't get my first sale until after 2 full weeks of going live, which is still not that bad. But by the end of the first month, I was getting consistent sales every single day. And by the end of the second and the third month, I was getting at least 10 plus sales per day. But I also didn't have videos like these walking me through, holding my hand, talking me through every single step of what I needed to do. If you're serious about implementing these tips and really trying to get your first sale in the first 24 hours, I wanna know what strategies or what tips you're gonna take action on. And you can, in the comment section, explain the specific strategy you're gonna take for your specific use case. And I'll comment back with any critical feedback that I think is necessary that will help contribute to you getting your first sale in the first 24 hours of going live. All right, so let's get into it. Tip number 1, humanize your shop. Now you might be wondering, well, what does that even mean, Hannah? What does that even mean? So many people on Etsy do a good job of marketing their products, but when you're a brand new shop with no reviews, no social proof, no organic indexing, it's even harder for you to gain someone's trust in a completely new shop. So you want to make it as human as possible. So how do we do that? Throughout your shop, you have many moments of truth. I call these moments of truth, where you're getting judged on as someone enters your store, whether that is your images, your profile image, your banner image, your about me section. Those are all moments of truth where you're getting judged by not only the algorithm, by people that are going to enter your store. So what you want to make sure you're doing is putting a face to the brand. Think of when you're going to book an Airbnb. Would you rather trust a Airbnb profile picture that is of a logo of a property management company, or would you rather trust Lily that is in a picture with her dog, and her kid? Most shops overlook this, even the really high level shops, but real people resonate with real people. So in your cover image, in your about me section, and even in some of your images in your actual listing, if there's any opportunities to story tell, show face of who you are, what your mission, vision, and why is, don't overlook those moments of truth where you can not only sell your products, but sell the story behind those products by adding a face to the brand. We're also gonna go deeper into this topic when we get to tip number 3. But before we get to that, let's get into tip number 2. Confusion kills. When your listing shows up in the Etsy search page, you have about 1 second to grab someone's attention. And if you do happen to grab that buyer's attention and they click on it, then you have about 3 seconds before you may potentially lose the click off the page. And so what does this mean for your listing? That means there cannot be anything potentially hazardous of confusing your buyer on what they're getting for the price they're paying. Here is a really good example of a really cool image that's a complete pattern interrupt for the jewelry niche. So you can see this main image here is an image of a girl's hand with a ring and a baby's foot. And then you also see a bracelet in that same image. Now the pattern interrupt that's grabbing people's attention in this is that you see this baby's foot, which is something that's telling you that there's something unique about this product that has to do with the product being a sentimental thing with your kids, right? That's your first instinct. However, they're failing on a couple of things in this listing. One, the main image is showing a ring and a bracelet in the main image. So big no-no. Your main image specifically should only be the exact product that they're getting, because it's likely, in this case, they're actually earning a click because they think they're getting a ring and a bracelet. But when you actually go to the listing, you see that it's actually only a ring. And what initially confused me is that I read the word set and then I saw ring and bracelet, and what you're really getting when you start reading, you see that you actually are only getting a ring set. So the 2 rings together, they're actually 2 rings, but they look like one. You as a buyer should be able to understand without having to read a single word what the unique value proposition or the unique selling point is of the product and what they're getting without having to, again, read anything. So at first glance, I saw the word set and then I saw a bracelet and I automatically thought that I was getting a ring and a bracelet set. But you're actually getting a set of 2 rings, which you don't even understand that until you get to the video. What they're also failing to do is paint a visual of what the unique value proposition is out the gates without having to read the title. So when you do read the title, you see that this is a breast milk ring where you actually are buying a kit to not only get the ring, but you can put your breast milk into the ring, which I thought was really unique. unique and it is a sentimental gift that I'm sure moms love. But you don't actually know that value proposition until you get to the 5th image slot in the listing. Even the video shows that you're getting the set of the 2 rings, but you're not understanding until you get to the 5th image that this is an actual kit that allows you to input your breast milk for your baby into the ring. So like I mentioned, the first thing I do is I would make sure that that main image is only showcasing the product. The product should really take up 80% of the airspace of the main image. You never want to show another item unless there's an option to buy it somewhere in the listing. It's okay to show other products in the following images, but for the main image, you want to earn that click for exactly what the product is. So I would crop everything else out and I would just show the baby's foot in the ring in the very first main image. And then somewhere on the side, I would put a graphic that says breast milk ring jewelry kit or breast milk ring kit. So they understand that this is not just a ring, but it's an entire kit that has a process of you inputting the breast milk into the ring. And so now, without even reading the title, all that information is collected just by seeing the image alone. And while you might be thinking, well, it only took you another 30 seconds to get to the 5th image position to understand what this was, you don't have 30 seconds. I would say once you're on the listing, you have 5 to 6 seconds tops. Another thing is if your listing offers variation, you want to make sure that all of the unique variations options, like if you're offering colors or different sizes, are linked to the variation drop-down menu options. So like in this example, they have this beautiful product, but when you go through the variation options and you select your color, it's not synced to the image. And so I have to manually pick my variation option, and then I have to manually go into the listings and go find the color and try to match it up with the variation option color that I pick. Any extra work that your customer has to do, you're increasing the drop off. This leads me to number 3, which is listing optimization. A lot of times people have a hard time utilizing those 10 image slots in the video slot because they're like, I don't know, how am I just supposed to take a picture of the same product 10 different ways? Like that doesn't really add more value just by repeating, a slightly different angle of the product. But what we want to do is utilize these 10 slots to the best of our ability. Essentially, people use descriptions to explain all of the key selling points. But what we want to happen is all of those key selling points that no one's going to read down in the description, we want to visually showcase those value propositions or those selling points in the imagery alone. So you understand, like we already said, not only the value proposition, but they understand what they're getting, but also all those additional key selling points, and set that up visually inside the listing as well. Instead of just repeating the same boring image of your product over and over again, see how we can add graphics that are storytelling graphics, again, putting your face behind the brand with maybe an about me graphic or about your designer graphic, showing your face, maybe showing you actually making the product, sitting at a desk, and the storytelling that maybe exists in your about me section that so few people go to read anyway. And then we need to think about what are all the key selling points. Is it handmade? Is it ethically sourced materials? Is it organic? Do you offer personalization? Can you show how you offer personalization so there's no confusion on how to get the personalization? Do you have a sizing chart? If you have different color or material options, can we set up graphics that showcase all of those individual options? Do you offer free shipping? Do you offer fast shipping? Is there something about your unique product that justifies your price point because you do something different than your competitors? All of that storytelling is what we want to try to achieve in those images. And incohesive image photography or graphics or fonts or colors actually can kill a sale as well. So if you have a beautiful main image, but then you have incohesive branding on the back end, this actually can also contribute to losing that sale as well, or losing that click as well. So you really want to make sure you're utilizing tools like Canva or some sort of, graphic design tool where you're keeping all your fonts, colors, logos, graphics cohesive with one another, because like I said, it's kind of like looking at a beautiful house and then you walk inside the house and the color schemes and all the accents of the house are just really messy and incohesive, and it really turns you off to buying the house. That's why realtors want to beautifully stage a house to increase the perceived value of the house. Now let's move into tip number 4, which is a competitive pricing. We need to price check our items to make sure that we're priced accordingly to the perceived value per the niche or the landscape or the competition. Now, I don't want you to leave this video just yet because I still have tip number 5, which you don't want to miss, but I have a free all-in Etsy starter course masterclass. It's completely for free and it takes you through the whole journey of how to validate and elevate your idea before you spend a bunch of time, money, and energy trying to build and sell products that possibly nobody wants. So in that masterclass, we go through how to really analyze your competition and make sure that that you are setting up your listings for the best case scenario to either meet or beat your competition. Because in reality, I can talk about pricing strategies all day long, but we still got to get to tip number 5. So like I said, after this video, go sign up for that free starter course where we're going to take you through that whole journey where you really fully understand the psychology of setting up a best case scenario listing. But the moral of the story is when it comes to pricing is that you want to make sure that you're priced according to the perceived value of your products. And the only way you can do that is by analyzing your competition who is attracting the same customer avatar as you. All right, and finally, tip number 5, the absolute fastest way to kickstart your traffic to your Etsy shop, believe it or not, is not going out and reaching out to a bunch of influencers or running Facebook ads or Pinterest ads or TikTok ads. You are selling on Etsy and you're paying that 6.5% selling fee for Etsy to solve a problem for you. That problem is called traffic. So if you're going to invest money, time, and energy on traffic outside of the Etsy platform, I would not be driving that traffic to an Etsy shop to then pay a 6.5% fee. If you're that versed in outside traffic on social media, on influencer marketing, which by the way, as someone that ran a company that had an employee where their only job was to do influencer outreach, which by the way is a full-time job because you don't just have to reach out to a couple of influencers, you have to reach out to hundreds of influencers. And then on top of it, you have to give away dozens of free products. So the amount of money, time, and energy spent to do that or learn Facebook ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads is not the best time or dollar spent in the return you're gonna see versus keeping that money and those dollars spent inside of the platform that already is cultivating the hottest traffic for you, which is people that are already going to the Etsy platform searching for the products that you have to sell. So the absolute fastest way to kickstart traffic and start getting more clicks and start getting more sales is by giving that dollar to Etsy ads. Etsy ads are by far the cheapest cost per acquisition, not only the cheapest, but the fastest way to acquire customers inside of the Etsy platform is inside of Etsy. And again, the reason being is because when you run Etsy ads, your Etsy ads are being shown to people that are doing what? They're already going to the search bar, typing in keywords that are exact keyword phrases that exist in your listing, which makes them what? The hottest traffic on the internet. I don't care what anyone says. If you're gonna sell on Etsy, the fastest and cheapest way to get new customers is either through the organic SEO of the Etsy platform or investing in your listings in Etsy ads. And I have an entire free Etsy ads masterclass that you can queue next after this video. If you're somebody that needs to validate and elevate a product idea first or learn how to analyze your competition, I would go to the Etsy free masterclass first and then queue that Etsy ads training next or save it for when you need to come back and watch it. And of course, Etsy ads are not about just wasting money, blindly spending money, or thinking that throwing money at your listings is going to solve all your problems. There is actual strategy, just like anything, influencer marketing, meta ads, TikTok ads, TikTok shop. With anything, there is a strategy that goes behind it that makes it worth your while. It's not about just turning it on, wasting money. Etsy ads should not only yield you more revenue, but it should yield you more profit if you do it correctly. And if it's not doing that, then that means there's a product problem or an optimization problem of your ads. So keep that in mind. But overall, guys, I hope I've given you a lot of tools and resources in this video to take the next step on your Etsy journey. Again, comment below and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.